Hey there, fellow Plexers. This is a specific video for Jason. So, in the Plexaholics Facebook group, we don't really know why yet, but he's got a year of 2020 for a whole bunch of different Disney movies. And I just learned that even though he's got it named, the movie named with the year 1937, he wants it to be 1938, and then it changes automatically to 2020. So, I haven't figured out what's going on yet. But I want to show Jason this. Let me open up both IMDb and TMDB. And we'll talk about this for a second. I got a little extension issue going on. I save my Windows positions and it sometimes makes certain Chrome windows unable to be windowed. I've got a bunch of utility programs all organized on my other monitor, and I like them all in the same places when I boot them up. Okay, so let's do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay, so for a Plex movie library, Plex uses metadata from both TMDB and IMDB, primarily along with metadata from other sources to create its Plex movie, scanner, and agent, the latest ones. So here it's listed as 1937. So if I click on that date, it shows the premiere was in Los Angeles on December 21st, 1937. And then January 1st, 1938 in Washington, D.C. And then here's dates for other showings of the movie. Well, over at TMDB, it has a date of 1/14/1938. So let's go back here. That doesn't really match up with either the Miami, Florida or the New York City premiere. It's one day after. So Plex has to use a date. They do adjust all this metadata they gather for their own purposes. And I want to show you how sometimes even the date here can change. I can't really prove that this used to be 1937, but my guess is the date was adjusted at TMDB by somebody, and it may not be a good date. And why I know that is I've just copied this movie off my normal server to my older Synology NAS to test it. And you can see I used FileBot with my normal expression probably sometime in 2020 when I was moving all my files and upgrading things from my old NAS to my new NAS. And it's the same expression I use today. It can rename external subtitles. It adds the extra media characteristics. And my expression adds the TMDB number, and it added the year of 1937. So now if I rename it again with FileBot, right, FileBot opened off screen. I'm first going to show you FileBot's default expression, which is organized movies for organized movies for Plex. It's hard to see, but it's now got the year 1938. I can't use this on my NAS because this expects the media to go into a folder named media and then a library folder named movies to then create the structure. My better expression renames in place, so it's going to keep it where it is, and that also sets a year of 1938. So I just renamed this. Let me refresh the browser, and now I have it with a new year. Well, let's add it to a test media server, and let me get that set up. I'm not prepared for that. All right, so here's that server running on that older NAS. and I've got to put it in this movie test library. And these are some dummy video files I was working up for Jason on another issue. Jason, you get a lot of attention. You get enough attention, some of this should all be second nature by now, mister. Okay, so I'm going to cut this and paste it into this test movie structure. And we'll see how it scans in. There it is. It's starting to scan in. It appeared, and it's got the year 1937. Now, just leave it alone at this point, Jason, because we'll want to see if this somehow magically changes to 2020 also. So if I go into edit it with a pencil, all I'm concerned about for my own library is just picking a different movie poster. Like, almost everybody knows that Snow White is a Disney movie, but I'd like to see the word Disney in the poster. And let me just pick something like this. That's a little bit more classic. All right, so let me go back in and edit it. And from the General tab, if we drop down, here's this release year. And I think December 21st is the first premiere of this movie at Los Angeles, or in Los Angeles. So it's not a wrong date. It's actually more consistent than what's listed at TMDB. If I go here, there's no option to click into the date. So I prefer TMDB for naming. I have FileBot set up to name from that. But IMDb is a valid source for Plex, for movies. And it does have this extra feature. So if you think 1938 isn't correct, just go to IMDb and click into the date and you'll see when the movie actually premiered. So I firmly believe in the past the TMDB entry was a 1937 date, also probably December. Somebody's changed it. And now FileBot's going to pull this year for my expression and its default movie expression. But Plex is still going to assign this date because, again, Plex's scanner and agent pulls metadata from multiple sources, and they're not going to give you an option of which date to use. They're just going to use this one. And if I was part of the team behind Plex, I'd use the actual first premiere date of the movie too. So don't change any dates if it's scanned incorrectly. So that's what I want to see next. If you let this be normal, I would remove the media. And this is how you do it. We're going to do the Plex dance. So I'm going to remove this media. Oh, and you've got other issues. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger. You've got other issues. You do not have Snow White in a folder for the movie. You just have it in a loose sort folder. So that would be like me creating a folder called instead of the right folder. So let's do the Plex dance and then add it kind of how you're doing it. All right, so now it's outside the library structure. So that's the first step of the Plex dance. The second step is to scan, which this is done already because it's automatic, but I'll scan manually. And then the third step is to go to Manage Library and empty the trash. The next step is to go to your settings, to troubleshooting, and clean the bundles. And the final step is to move the media back in. So we're going to move it back in like you've got it set up, which I really don't think hurts anything, but it's not Plex compliant. And when there's only one movie in the wrong folder name, Plex may not scan it correctly. So let me copy these. Well, no, I'll cut them. It'll be faster. Let me go back inside this structure and paste them into this sort folder structure. So that's just not right. But Plex still finds it. So even your poor folder structure should not be causing this to have an issue. But I really don't like this. If you were going to do that, I do it a different way. Let me pull this out, paste that back here, and I don't really need to do the Plex dance again. Let me grab these and let me paste them in here. Now I'm going to cut this and paste it into this folder. So the subtitle file and the movie file are now in a properly named movie folder file, which is now in the sort folder. So say you had 3 or 4 sort folders for certain movies because you just preferred it, then all the rest of your media was set up correctly in the library folder. Well, those sort folders should be at the same level as this library folder. So the proper way to use that sort folder would be to add a path for it. Manage library, edit, advanced, general, add folders, there I am. Here's my normal path. Now I'm going to add a path for that sort folder. Oh, I went too far. So now I'm adding it, and if I had 10 other sort folders, I'd end up having 11 paths. One for everything in the proper folder with its own movie folder, and then everything that's segregated into sort folders, where you should still be using movie folders. So that's a better way if you must use sort folders, but you really don't have to use sort folders. If you have a huge library, let's open that up in a new tab, and let's pull in my regular Plex media from my newer Synology NAS. So this is my shared folder named Lazily Plex. Here's my sort folders, one for every type of Plex library folder. Again, lazily named, just movie. Inside this are my different actual library folders, movie library folders. So let me go into the documentary. There's 500 in here. Pretty easy to scroll around. Let me go into my main movie library where there's almost 7,000 movie folders. Okay, now it's taken a while to access, and this sometimes happens when I'm running OBS Studio to record. So now I'm making it look as if what is normal, what isn't normal is normal. So that's a pain in the butt. Oh, so this is with my videos not being scripted. Let's try something else, see if we can get in there. So now it's an issue with the OS and OBS Studio running. So this is 700 some TV series. It just all scrolls fast. I don't know why I couldn't get into my main movie library folder. But if I turn OBS off, it'll get right in there. Okay, so this is getting long. And this might be easier than the other video I showed you. I really need to see this. I need to have confirmation you're running Plex Movie for both the scanner and agent. And what that does is it eliminates anything that involves these agents. See how it's marked legacy? None of this matters with the latest scanner and agent. Changes here would only matter if you're not using the latest scanner and agent. And there's no reason not to use the latest scanner and agent. So Jason, you're getting a lot of attention, a real lot of attention. But I need better feedback from you to actually help you. But you are getting better. Let's applaud you for that. You are getting better, but you're not there yet, buddy. And we're gonna get you there. If you have to buy me a plane ticket and have me come visit personally, we'll get you there. All right, everybody else, thanks for watching, and Jason, good luck.